Yo, what is going on, everybody? It is your boy, Anchor MMA, and I'm back today with my UFC 326 picks and parlays. This isn't the greatest card, I won't lie, but big main event. There's still some really exciting fights, so I'm still very excited for this. We're going to start with the prelims with Cody Durden versus, I'm not even going to, Nyamjaral Tumden Burrell. Yeah. For sure, man. I'm going to go with Cody Durden by unanimous decision. Whatever the guy's name is, very unproven. I just think Cody Durden, more experienced, he'll have it in the bag. I'm not too worried. This will be a pretty easy fight for Cody Durden, I feel. Enough said. Next up is Ricky Turcios versus Alberto Mendez. Mendez making his debut. Turcios actually might also be making his UFC debut, but he was on the Contender Series. I'm going to go with Ricky Turcios. He's more crafty, per se. Good volume. He's not going to put anybody's lights out, but he's got good volume. He's a very impressive striker, and I think he'll be able to get it done based on volume. So I think he's going to win this one by unanimous decision. Up next, we got Dante Johnson, versus Cody Brundage. Cody Brundage, 11-8. He just recently lost at UFC 325, the last numbered event. Dante Johnson is 7-0. I'm going to go with Dante Johnson by submission. Dante Johnson has a pretty impressive resume, even though he only has 7 professional fights. They're still really good fights, pretty much all finishes. I think Dante Johnson is going to destroy Brundage. I think he could KO him. I think he could submit him. I think he could do whatever he wanted to Cody Brundage. I think that's a pretty easy pick, and that's an absolute lock there. Up next, Cody Garbrandt versus Long Zhao. This is obviously a step down in competition for Cody Garbrandt, which is what he needs, and that's why we're going to get vintage Garbrandt, and he's going to get a nice unanimous decision over Long Zhao. Garbrandt is obviously washed. He's not as good as he was, but his losses aren't horrible. Howdy Barcelos is a very good fighter. I don't know why the UFC doesn't push him at all, but he's a really good fighter. Garbrandt has some good losses. Obviously not championship level like he was before, but Long Zhao is just not the level of competition Cody Garbrandt needs. I think he'll have really good volume and put on an absolute masterclass, so I'm going to go with Cody Garbrandt by unanimous decision on this one. Next up, we got RoboCop Gregory Rodriguez versus Bruno Ferreira. This is also kind of a step down in competition for RoboCop. I think RoboCop is going to TKO Bruno Ferreira. This is a step down in competition for him. I don't know why he wouldn't win this fight, really. Bruno Ferreira isn't bad. He's 15-2, but I don't think he'll be able to handle RoboCop's power. Yes, he's getting old, but he's still got power in the hands. I think he'll easily TKO Bruno Ferreira within the first 2 rounds. Up next, honestly, I don't care the outcome of this fight, but as a fan, I'm most excited to watch. This is one of the most exciting fights of this card for sure, and that's Drew Dober versus Michael Johnson. Two notoriously odd fighters. Really good wins, really bad losses. Both really weird. I think this one could honestly go either way. Either of them could finish each other, but I'm going to go Drew Dober by TKO in the second or third round. Dober usually doesn't finish people in the first round. But Michael Johnson could definitely get this done too. I could see that as well. But Drew Dober, I trust him a little bit more. He's got a good track record against, let's just say, people like Michael Johnson. So yeah, I think Drew Dober is going to win this one by TKO. Up next, we got Rob Font versus Raul Rosas Jr. This is quite the push for Raul Rosas Jr. I don't think he's ready for somebody like Rob Font, and I don't think he's deserving for somebody like Rob Font. So I think Rob Font will have a 29-28, but a pretty clear 29-28 unanimous decision over Raul Rosas Jr. Am I saying Raul Rosas Jr. sucks? No. He's a very good fighter. Rob Font is a really good fighter still. I still think he's got a lot left in the tank for him, and I just don't think Raul Rosas Jr. is ready for it yet as the young 21-year-old he is. So I'm going to go with Rob Font by unanimous decision on this one. The co-main event of the night, we got Reinier de Ridder versus Caio Borralho. A lot of people are thinking Caio's going to win because RDR kind of got exposed a little bit in his last fight. But I just don't see the Caio Borralho hype like other people do. I mean, he just got kind of dominated by Nasruddin Imavov, and I think Khamzat's going to make him look silly, and we're going to question why he was ever fighting for the belt. I don't think Imavov is as good as people think, and I think that's why people have Caio so highly is because they think Imavov is that good. But I'm going to go with Reinier de Ridder by a split/close decision. RDR is not... He's not this invincible man. He's not incredible. He's beatable. And I think this fight could go either way. But I think either way, people realize these guys are on the same level, and I don't think they should be as highly regarded in this division. And it's a really stacked division, so that's not a bad thing for these guys. I don't get why this is a co-main event on a numbered event. I don't get it. But I think RDR is going to really show that Caio is too hyped just because he's a fighting nerd. Our RDR is going to style on him, get those step-in knees, do what RDR does, really. I think this could go either way, though. I'm not for sure about this, but I think RDR is going to win this one. And obviously, the main event of the night, Max Bless Holloway versus Charles do Bronx Oliveira. The best is blessed, brother. I think Max Bless Holloway is going to win by unanimous decision. But I think people are counting Charles out a little too much. Charles is still incredible. And I think if this fight gets on the ground too much, I think Charles could lock something in and win this fight by sub. But I think, yes, Charles will land 2-3 takedowns, maybe even more. But I think Max Holloway will drop Charles probably more than once. I'm going to say 2-3 times. I don't think he finishes him. Because if you knock Charles down, unless he's almost fully out cold, you don't want to jump on him and chase that finish because Charles will just reverse that and get a choke on you. So I think Max Holloway is going to win this by unanimous decision. I think there's going to be really cool parts of this fight. I think the very end, the point down will be awesome. These guys are two of my favorite fighters ever. And this is going to be a tough one to watch, especially if somebody gets finished. But I'm really excited. I'm going to be happy either way with the winner, just as long as somebody doesn't pass away. Please, Charles, don't do this to me again, man. But I love this fight. I'm so glad this fight was made. This is going to be a really good fight. It could go either way, but I think Max Holloway is going to win by 49-46, maybe 48-47, something like that. It'll be a close fight. There'll be really cool moments. This is a good fight, and I think if Max Holloway wins, you probably give him Benoit Saint Denis, and I think after he takes care of BSD, you definitely give him Ilya. And I think he has a good chance against Ilya in the rematch. I might be crazy for saying that, but I do. And I think if Charles wins, you give him Benoit Saint Denis as well. And I don't know what you do with Charles after that, I guess. Maybe Charles was talking about a move down, so maybe he can move down if he wanted to do that healthily and get the title shot down there. But if Max loses, I don't know what you do with Max. If Charles loses, I think you give him to somebody like Paddy Pimblett. I think that's a pretty fair fight. But if Max loses, I feel like Paddy won't deserve a Max, because Max is... I mean, they're both really high level. I think maybe you could give Max to Paddy, but either way, this fight, absolute. A lot of people are complaining that this is the main event of a numbered card. I don't care. I love this fight. I'm glad it's for a BMF. I'm glad it's 5 rounds. There's going to be so many cool moments, so many clips. I feel like when Dana and Hunter made the BMF belt, this is the type of fights they really imagined. And this is going to be a tough one to watch. I don't know who to root for. I'm just going to root for a good time, I guess. But now on to the Anchor MMA parlays. I actually really like this parlay. I'm going to go with Rob Font over 24.5 significant strikes. I think that's an absolute lock. I'm not too worried about that. I got Drew Dober over 44.5 significant strikes. Obviously, I am a little scared about this one, but I think Drew Dober doesn't really finish people in the first round that often, unless he perfectly clips Michael Johnson. I don't think it'll end in the first round, but I think that's a pretty good over there, and I think that'll definitely hit. Charles Oliveira over 1.5 takedowns. I feel like this was a Red Devil on Prize Picks, and I really don't know why. To me, that will happen, especially against somebody like Max. I don't think he'll hold him down for super long or anything, but seeing Ilya being able to take him down that easily, and knowing that Charles is just has so much better jiu-jitsu, not so much better, but you know what I mean. I think he can definitely get 2 takedowns. And then lastly, I have Max versus Charles going over 3.5 rounds. I'm a little scared about this, but not really. I don't think somebody will instantly get chinned or choked out or nothing. I think this one will go the distance, but I think 3.5 rounds is a pretty fair line, if you ask me. I don't like putting in a ton of money on these parlays, so for me, I put $5 in, and I'm getting $46.25. So I feel like that's a really good risk reward there. I'll give you guys the second one. I think Drew Dober at plus 105 is free money. Let alone Rob Font at plus 190. Please put everything you have. Put your house on Rob Font at plus 190. That's insane odds. I don't get that. RoboCop minus 198. That's pretty fair if you ask me. Like, I think that'll definitely hit. I think Garbrandt at plus 124 is kind of risky, but I think that one will definitely hit since this is a step down in competition. Honestly, if you put Dante Johnson in the parlay, that would be perfectly fine, but I'm pretty sure he's a really big favorite. But yeah, that'll do it for this video. Appreciate you guys watching, and yeah, have a good day.